Good morning. Or again, I gotta stop saying good morning because, well, I mean, it's morning for me. So I guess it works. Beautiful May long weekend weather. Typical May long weekend weather, actually. And in a year where nobody can go anywhere to at least get out of the city and be out in nature. Because it's not as bad when you're out in the bush and it's raining. At least you're kind of out there, you know, away from all the nutters. We had to go to Home Depot on Saturday. Line up the entire length of the door. Now I know, reduced capacity and all that stuff, but that's insane. So that basically tells me that with all the lockdowns, all anybody is doing is home renovations, spending money they don't have. I did not wait in that line, needless to say. So yeah, it's a lovely rainy day out here. So we're not gonna be doing too much stuff that's gonna require me to be in and out of the van. I think what we're gonna do today is tackle the trim that I need on those upper parts of the van where the fiberglass insulation is, and that will complete the interior of the van. I was gonna say design of the van, but no, I mean, yeah. So we need basically three pieces, right? We need one for drivers and passenger side, and we need one at the back door. And that one on the back door is really important because I need it to go up to hold, I need it to go up high enough so that it can hold that roof panel a little bit, because that roof panel is a little long and there's no stud back there holding it up, so it's a little right now. And I am going to do what I came up with during that idea day video, which is dismantle this IKEA bookcase and use the edges. So the plan is take that apart, slice them in half, two, and not slice, probably cut with the saw, circular saw, and then I'm gonna paint them white. I was debating on, you know, doing it proper and getting like a can of primer and then a can of white. No, I just got a spray can of paint plus primer, satin white. So we'll see how that suits us. So that's the plan. Let's see how long this all takes us. I probably should have invested in a couple more C-clamps because I want to saw this board completely in half down, you know, lengthwise now, but I'm going to need my C-clamps to hold it to the table, but they are currently being used to make the lid for the second wheel well box. Instead of just being MDF board, I've got this, I'm using some of the extra wall paneling just to give it a little nicer look. So can you guess what's in between the boards? You got it, construction adhesive. So I'm weighing it down with these weights and the clamps are holding down either end. And I like just did this about half hour ago. I could just take the clamps off, clamp that down, and then put them back on, but I don't want to risk it separating the construction adhesive. So I think we're not going to mess with that for now. We'll leave those on there for another hour or so and see what else we can do to sort of wrap up this interior build. Okay, I took the clamps off. They seem to be okay. If I do this quick enough, I should be able to get the clamps back on and it won't be such a problem. Probably just being paranoid. Oh, I got to unplug the phone. I need this for the saw. Yoops. So now I should probably be taping along this line I made, and I didn't use a pencil. I used a utility knife to score this because of the whatever materials on top of the MDF board with this IKEA furniture. I should be using tape to avoid splinters, but since I'm painting it, I'm not too worried. If it gets really bad, I can always just kind of sand down any sort of rough MDF. Anyways, yeah, I'll just sand it down if it's too obnoxious, but let's not waste any more time. Yeah, not too bad. They're probably a little janky. I haven't looked at them too closely, but we've got 4 boards. The other one's still over there. I'll show you in a second, but yeah. So 2 boards turned into 4. The only thing that's kind of silly are the little holes where the, I don't know why I'm keeping these, where the anchors were, right? So do I let that bother me and fill it with wood filler? I don't have wood filler, so I don't think I'm gonna worry about it. Because again, I'd love to do this with just stuff I already have here in the garage and not have to spend any money. I don't like filming when I'm not in selfie mode. Don't know what's going on. But yeah, MDF board is ridiculous. Maybe it's the combination of the board and my saw, but look at this. Like, look at the amount. That's just from one cut because I vacuumed in between. Like, that's just nuts. Like, what? Hang on. Look at this. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm just making a bigger mess on the floor. All right, I'm gonna get this cleaned up and then we're gonna paint these white. I'm not gonna worry about sanding them because again, it's got this material on it. It really does nothing. So yeah, let's do some cleaning and do some painting. Okay. There's only room for 3 on this table. I was gonna put them on the ground, but I don't have enough cardboard. I don't want it to be all over the floor. This stuff's supposed to dry in 20 minutes. It's gonna take a few coats to cover this material. But yeah, I'll have to do the 4th one by itself. So I dusted them off dry, and then I used a tack cloth to actually clean them off to get as many particles off as I could. The garage is filled with sawdust right now, so it's not gonna be perfect. But, yeah. It's interesting how this desk is like it's become just the workstation for the van stuff. Wonder how it will end up getting incorporated into the van once we're done. It'll probably be one of the last things at this point. Yeah, not still bad. Haha. It actually kind of just looks good like this already. I'll probably still hit it with a second coat just to be on the safe side, but I might have to go get another can of that spray paint. Because there's only 3. I still got that one to do. Nah, let's wrap some other stuff up while this dries. Okay, so while we wait for that to dry, that's the 15th time I've hit my head on this flower basket. I'm gonna hit my head on it like 6 more times. Stuff that hangs in this garage has been the bane of my existence. I should do a compilation video every time I smash my head on that hanging golf ball, the freaking garage door hanging thing, my brackets for my awning, and now this. Anyway, while we wait for that to dry, I am going to put the piano hinge on this door. Hinge is installed. Gonna let the construction adhesive cure a little bit longer, and I just put a second coat on the panels, and now I started a new timer for an hour because the can says handle within 1 hour. It's funny, it says dry in 10 minutes, but handle in an hour. So we're in the van. I'm still waiting for the boards to dry. Figure we would. Can I make it any brighter? And I can make it darker. Hang on. Oh man, hang on. I need light in here. There we go. That guy up there, that's better than nothing. So I figure we get that installed. I brought everything in here. I've got the drills, the screws, and the lid. So we're gonna slap that guy on here and finish that off. Got the heater going, get it nice and toasty in here. Yeah, let's set you up and get it installed. Hey! Of course, now the one thing I forgot to bring in was the other latch. I want to put it probably right in this corner because it's the one that's popping up the most. It's not even that bad. But if this is down, then this corner barely moves too. And I'll just keep it from while I'm driving, right? But there it is. This frickin' box, Mike and I built this so long ago, and now I'm just getting around to putting it in. Like, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, when you get to this stage, you just start kind of going off about all the different things that you want to do. See, I was being too eager. Nothing drastically horrible happened or anything, but I got the latch installed right there, right? Looks like a horror movie in here with this lighting. So latch is installed, but right there, you can see the construction adhesive oozing out. The two boards are actually separating, so these weights are gonna have to stay here. I'm gonna leave them on all night. But there is the box. It is looking good. It is starting to get cozy in here, and there's not even a nice place to sit. But yeah, it's coming together. Let's check that timer. All right, so got one in. Look how good that looks. I know you can't really, yeah, the flashlight's too bright. I think that looks so good. To quote one of my favorite YouTubers, so good. But that one went up fairly easily. Now I'll have to cut one of the other boards so just to fit this section that goes over the door here. But there's a new issue. For the driver's side, it's got the electrical conduit for the tail lights running, and if I want to cover that up, the screws that I have don't actually reach through the board to the sheet metal. So I do have an idea. Let's go back into the garage and I'll show you what that idea is. Okay, so forget all of that. I just wasted like an hour going to Lowe's and Home Depot. Lowe's didn't have the screws I was looking for, and Home Depot was closed for some reason. Should have known that when the parking lot looked so scarce. People were still walking up to the door and looking real confused about it. I don't really know. Maybe just, I mean, it's the holiday Monday, but every other store is open. But anyways, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, because the whole idea of putting, those tiny studs up there, that was because I was obsessed with using the pre-existing holes. But I also, and then I gave up on that off camera. I was like, I'm just gonna go get longer screws, forget it. So I couldn't find them, and now I've just made my peace. It's fine, and I just put them in. I made new holes. So this board is up on this side, and it's still up on that side. So now I just have to finish up the small section back there, the small section above the door, and then figure out what I'm doing for the back. I don't think I'm gonna have enough of this board left to do the back unless it's two pieces, which might look a little jank. Not sure, but either way, I was overthinking the whole situation. These are just, yeah, if I wanted to put the screw in the pre-existing holes, they wouldn't have reached. There's nothing there. But I just brought them down lower. This is where the board is hitting the sheet metal, and we golden. Hey, what's that green tape for? That's where those ribs are. And right in between them is where I eventually want the ceiling fan to go. So I had to remove the tape that showed the ribs, obviously, because I'm putting the boards up, but I still wanted to know a general idea. So roughly the middle between these green pieces of tape is where I will eventually have a ceiling fan one day. Let's finish this up. Okay, so this project has gotten away on me and frustrated me to no end today, but that's okay, because not everything can work out perfectly. That'd be super weird if it did. Still only the one piece on the passenger side. The roof, it's not perfectly even with the wall, so the piece has to be kind of trimmed like this. So I think I'm gonna use different wood just for above the door, which might actually look kind of cool because it's the doorway. So the other piece that was gonna go there is back here now. I just cut some 45-degree angles off the ends. It's not pretty, but it's gonna go over the back part here. But the paint on it wasn't quite dry, so it needs some touch-ups and some sandings off the angles that I cut. And I got this piece in, but you can't really tell on camera, and that's fine. But there are some real big holes in this thing, and I got real mad about it. Trying to get it in. I don't know what it was, because the roof was coming down on the far side of it, and it's just that far enough away from the wall of the van that none of the screws I had were biting like they did on this first piece. I mean, this gave me a lot of false hope getting this piece in when I decided to not use the existing holes and make my own. That one went in, bang, bang, no problem. And I just assumed that would happen with this piece, and it didn't. And what I ended up actually doing was taking 2 screws out of down here, because they're 2.5 inches in length. And that's what's holding that piece up now. I waved the phone like you're... It's over there. Once Home Depot's open again, I'll get some more screws and put them back in the trim there. Sorry, there's like sawdust everywhere. The reason it got so frustrating is because I actually ended up taking the big roof panel off, trying to straighten it out and getting these side trim pieces to line up a little bit better down near the back. Oh, I'm glad I didn't film it. I wouldn't have been very proud of myself. But at the end of this, I'm still proud that we did it with the dresser pieces. It was probably a huge pipe dream to think it would be perfect and everything would line up, because nothing in the van has lined up before, right? So I am going to now unwind. The floor of the van is an absolute mess for putting the screws back in the roof. There's, like I said, sawdust or wood giblets from the panels everywhere. I'm just gonna put on some music and woo-saw myself here and sweep this up, just so I'm not coming out to a huge mess the next time I work on the van, which will probably be tomorrow. Interior pretty much done. I don't know that I'm gonna waste much time finishing the door and the side door and the rear door before I just do the interior video, because I want to get that out of my system and done. Listen, I wonder if that's coming across on the camera. That sounds so cool. I mean, it sounds cool. That's another reason this day was kind of like frustrating, because it's the in and the out of the van, constantly taking measurements, getting cuts, and every single time I do that, I gotta take my shoes off because I didn't feel like traipsing the rainwater in here. Man, I wish I had my awning up. All good things come to those who wait. Let's leave it there until the next one, guys. Just be happy, be creative, be yourselves, and be positive. And I will see you all in the next one.